Cece, and you are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. And I am so pleased to have you with us tonight. We have a really cool topic, but before we start, I want to introduce myself. And I am a divorce, dating, and basically like a life coach, mentor. I really try to help you move through that transition of, kind of one of the worst times in your life to living your best life, and that's what it's all about. We have this fantastic radio station. It's called WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We do also internet TV, which we're on now tonight live on Be Live TV. So I am so pleased that you joined me. So I want to get busy and talk about our topic because it's quite long tonight, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But our topic tonight is called being, oh, my phone's going off like crazy. Okay, it is. It's not funny when I go to do something, then everything starts happening all around you. But anyhow, it's really about being in a fake relationship. So, I put something up on Facebook today about being in, is it better to be solo than to be in a fake relationship? So what is a fake relationship? So I'm sure some of you out there are thinking, what the heck is a fake relationship? A fake relationship is when you think you've got it going on. You think, okay, I've got this relationship and it's going great. Everything is going wonderful, but it really isn't. And you're kidding yourself because you're thinking why are things not happening right, or they're not, it's not gelling all together. And so what we're going to talk about tonight is, and we're going to close with that question. Is it better to be solo? And so we are talking about the 8 signs that you're in a fake relationship. And this is a blog that I found, and I'm starting to do this more and more, talking about these various blogs that I come across because I think they're very good for us to be able to revisit. And this one has been back, I think 2002. I think it's a couple of years ago. It's been posted a couple of years ago. But I thought it was really interesting, 8 signs of you're in a fake relationship. And then, so what I do is I take these blogs and then I read them and then I make my perception of them. And so if you don't like what I have to say, you know what you can do with it. I don't really care. The whole thing is I just want to help you. And so if what I'm saying, if you can really dig deep and feel that, some of it you can connect with, awesome, because I don't want you to feel like you are alone through all of this. But if you don't believe in anything that I say or a particular topic that I'm on, or, something just doesn't sit with you, that's okay. That's absolutely fine, because we all have our own opinion. We all have what we've traveled through. So I'm going to turn my phone down so it will quit bothering me and you. So let's talk about our very first one. So again, our topic tonight is the 8 signs that you're in a fake relationship. And the first one I think is most important is your communication sucks. Have you ever been in a relationship where you don't feel like you've actually connected in your communication? You haven't been able to have that really heart-to-heart talk, where you just talk on the surface of everything, but you don't really bond to really understand what that person is about. And so you want to have those really heartfelt talks. You want to be able to connect. And so if your communication sucks, why be there? Why be with that person if you're not truly connecting with them? And so I think that's very, very important. Like I see couples and you go out to dinner or whatever, and they both have their phones and they're looking at their phones and they're texting and they're checking their emails and they're doing all of this, but they're not connecting with each other. They're not having that communication with each other. So I say, put down the phones, put down your computer stuff, or, at least dinner, and be together and actually, come together and talk a little bit about something that might be important. Planning your future together and things like that is so vital to really have that kind of connection. We're going to talk about that too as we get down to it. So the next one is personal, Personal PDA, personal public display of affection. Thank you. I have the peanut gallery right over here. So anyhow, but I mean, have you ever, been with somebody who is not really affectionate to you? They're only, again, affectionate on the surface, or they're affectionate when they want something from you, or they have basically a need to fill or something like that. But when you have someone that wants to connect with you, there's either too much or too little, and so you want to get to that happy place in the middle, where you know that your partner knows that you need a hug, or you need to, your hand held, or you need a kiss, or you need a kiss on the cheek, or something like that. You need some sort of connection like that, because us as humans, we do crave that. We do want that. But when someone's overly giving it to you, then usually they're trying to make up for something. It's like that old saying, oh, they bring you a lot of flowers, and it's like, okay, what did you do? So if anyone does something too much, they've got something they're either trying to cover up, or there's something missing. Something's not quite right there. So you want to make sure that that particular kind of behavior, figure out what it is and what's happening, especially if all of a sudden they're not like that and then they become like that. Because if they become like that, then it's probably guilty or something. But the thing is, if they're cold to you, then there's a whole nother problem going on. There's something else going on, because, I just recently was talking to a friend of mine who was with somebody, and they weren't affectionate to him. And, it really, really hurt him. He wanted to move forward in the relationship, but she wasn't affectionate to him. And so, he took it as, okay, well, that's all right. I'm not really ready for that maybe yet in the relationship. But the reality is as you move forward into the relationship, you do want that kind of affection. You do want that kind of bonding together. So if someone tells you right off the bat, well, I'm just not going to give that to you, that, there's red flags that are coming. Why aren't you willing to, start connecting with me, start being with me? But timing is everything. So you don't want to rush a relationship either. So you want to kind of know where you're at with that. And if I'm rushing these a little bit, it's because there's 8 of them and we only have a half an hour. So I want to try to get them all through. And then we can always rehash these issues at another time as we're moving stuff. This one I think is so important. And I have felt this myself. No remarkable moments. You know what I mean? No, nothing special. You haven't done anything to create anything special. You're both are working, you're doing this, you're doing that, but you're not creating moments that you can look back and say, this is a special time. So like if you don't go out to dinner, you don't do something that you don't share these experiences together. I've been on dates, and even myself, where they don't go out, they don't do anything, they just want to sit home and they just want to watch TV. Well, they might as well be by themselves. Why be with someone? If someone doesn't want to create an experience with you, why even bother? Don't you think? Why even bother with it? Also, I do want to let you know that if you want to send a comment, I'm here. All you have to do is just post something. We would love to be able to have that. I'm going to let me put up some of the, what we're talking about here, which is that. So that way you guys have it. But I'm trying to figure out how to go back and forth on this particular site. So we're learning as we go. But I think that we do have to create those extra special moments in our lives. So we want to create the sweet memory, the laughs together. We want to create something that is going to be lifelong. So when at each moment, as we're moving forward in our lives, we create these small little tidbits of moments that we look back on. And so often when we have relationship loss, it's those moments that we look back on and we say, oh, I remember this, I remember that, I remember this. But if you are building a relationship with someone new, if you're trying to create that with someone new, and you're not doing those extraordinary things together, you're not creating memories for yourself. So, that is a sign of a fake relationship. When someone does not, they're in it for a different motive. They have a different reason to be with you. They're not in it to create something with you. And that's what whole thing, what a relationship, building a relationship is creating it's creating experiences, creating life, it's sharing of one another. So anyhow, the fourth one is there's a lot of confusion. Now, this topic I've heard a lot. Like, you don't understand why, he's doing what he's doing or she's doing what she's doing. There's a lot of confusion what's going on. You're not really connecting with each other. You don't really know if, maybe the word love is out there being tossed around like a ball, but are they really showing it? Are they really displaying love? And you can display love in many, many ways. And a lot of it is giving your other partner a sense of security, So if there's confusion, and it could be confusion on the person that they're looking and wondering, why isn't this happening? Or there could be confusion that, you have this unsteady feeling within yourself that your gut is telling you something's not right with it. Generally, it isn't. Generally, that partner's stepping out on you, or they're doing something, they have this extracurricular activity. And it might not even be another partner. It might just be another activity, but something they hold higher than you. And so why do you want to be in that relationship? And I've asked these questions myself. Let me tell you, I have been down this road myself. And so this confusion that we have, it's also a bit of a struggle within ourselves, because we tell ourselves we want something more than what we have, but how do we get it? How do we get to that point? And the thing is you can't get to it if it's in a fake relationship, if it's in a non-workable relationship. So you have to take these components and dissect them to see, can you fix certain things? Because I do feel like relationships can be fixed if we can be aware of what the problem is. But do we want to fix them? That's a key. And so that is the big, $1 million question. So anyhow, we'll go on to the next one. We can always come back when we've got a little bit more time, because some of these I think are truly great, and they're eye openers. They make us really start to think about it. And I know it's a little bit of a heavy subject, so, but that's what we are here on Going Solar. We're trying to keep it real. Being in a relationship is not easy. And so we can't, it's fun and it's loving and it can be awesome. But there's the elements of which we're working it and we're trying to make it happen. Sometimes it's tough. Sometimes it is tough. But you know what? Anything tough in life is absolutely worth doing. And so that's what we have to come across. All right, here we go. Serious discussions off limit. Have you ever been with somebody when they do like this? All they talk is about superficial things. They talk about the weather. They talk about little conversations, but they don't want to dig deep, number one, into their past, because we need to know our other's past. We need to know what their baggage is. And I hate to use that word baggage, but it's what developed them. It's what made them who they are today. And it's what has made them arisen to maybe the beautiful person that they are. And so it is important that they share with us. And I was in a relationship one time with someone they wouldn't even talk about. I mean, I have a clue at all about their past. I mean, it's like they, just dropped out. What's that movie where he just drops out of the sky and he's naked, right? It's like, what? That didn't happen to you. So you've gotten here somehow. And I need to know what's happened in your past, because I need to understand you, and I need to have compassion for you. And how can I have compassion for you if I don't truly understand where you've come from? And so we all need that. So there should be no discussions that should be off limits. I mean, everything should be on the table, and you should be happy to be able to discuss it. And then you move on from it. It's not like you want to live in that place, but you want to be able to move on with it. And we all have soft spots. We all have places that we hate to kind of go to. But if we are actually building a relationship with somebody that we think is going to be long-term, we should be safe to be able to discuss anything. We should feel like we can come together and discuss what's happening. And it doesn't have to be just superficial of what's happening here, what's happening there. It needs to be about the core of your being and understanding who you are and what makes you tick. Loving somebody, you don't just love them on the surface, you love them all the way through. And so if we want to create an everlasting bond with someone, one where you would never step out on the relationship because you would never want to hurt that person. You want to create that solidness. I mean, there are relationships out there. I have good friends that have wonderful relationships like that. I thought I had one like that at one time. I thought I really had one. But the reality is that it was fake. And I didn't know it. I didn't know it until it crushed me. And I don't want that to happen to you. So what I want is for you to start opening up a little bit and realizing that whatever is going through with you, you can change it. You have a choice. You have your, we refer to it as your movement of choice. You have your choice to be able to determine what kind of relationship you want, And so as we're moving forward going solo, we've got a choice. We can make a decision of what we want to do. So again, we want serious, no serious discussion should be off limit. There should be no, moments of anger or fighting or whatever. There should be nothing like that. We should be able to clearly as adults come together and talk about certain things that we feel passionate about, talk about our fears, talk about, our core. So I think that's so very important. And we'll move on to the next one, power struggle. Wow, we have this a lot with men and women. And and I have to admit, I'm kind of there too. And I know the reason for my sometimes a little bit of a power struggle with me is because I have stuff in my past. I have hurtful feelings and things like that. So sometimes I don't want to give it up, or I don't want to let go. I don't want to let in. I don't want to let you in all the way, because I'm afraid you're going to hurt me, And so as we're moving forward into building a relationship, it's those kind of windows and doors that we have to slowly open and slowly close, And so that power struggle, it's not really about a man or a woman or, who's one up and who's one down. It's really about blending together and starting to create a life together. And so I think that it's, they say like compromise, and I know that that's important, and I think that we have to have that, and we must do that within a relationship. But the reality is that it's not so much of the compromise, it's of the blending of who you are, who you want to become, who they are, who they want to become. You come together as one, without losing yourself, without, stop being who you are. And I think that's possible to do. I mean, I have some very good friends and very good relationships that definitely have that. They can honor and respect their partners for who they are, but they can also be joined together as one. And I think that's what we all want. We all want that blending of personalities. We want the blending of love and caring and friendship. Those are the kind of things that create a relationship that's not fake. And so that's what we want. There is no sexual chemistry. Holy cow. How can you have a relationship, an intimate relationship with someone without sexual chemistry? Okay, Christopher, I know that you're watching the show. And chemistry is always your hot topic. But sexual chemistry, I think we have to have some sort of physical chemistry with our partners, no matter what it is. And I also think that chemistry, even though, Kristen and I have always had some hot discussions about it, and we will continue to have those hot discussions about it, where someone, when we meet someone and then we instantly have that attraction. And it is also a sexual chemistry. But as we grow older, I hate to use that word older because I'm kind of getting there myself. But as we get down that road, our sexual drivers are not as strong as what they used to be. And we start to understand the quality of the person rather than the quantity of them. And so when we come together as one in a physical being, we want to be able to connect, with that quality. And so I think it's so important that we understand that, health is going to come into play, and there's going to be some issues there that we have to show some compassion to. And we have to look at sex, believe it or not, differently as we become older. So I think we can have it all. We may just have to have it differently. And so what a wonderful life we can create if we can begin to think that we could do things differently and we can explore different possibilities. I mean, don't you think that's pretty awesome? I think it is. But if you are in a relationship that is very sexual and all of a sudden it isn't, there's a problem. There's a problem with that, most certainly. And you need to get down to the bottom of it. And if there's no time for that relationship, there's all these excuses coming into play. There's a problem in that relationship, and you need to get down to the bottom of it. And so I think it's keeping it real is what's really important, with regards to it. So let's move on to our last one. And I think we're doing pretty good on time. So I know, you know what? I think this is a kicker. When we're dating, you're building each other lives together. You're starting to grow together. You're starting to do all these things, and all these wonderful things, all these elements are starting to blend together, aren't they? And you're thinking, this is pretty good. Everything's going real good. Okay, now the holiday season is coming up, and all of a sudden, bam, you're going to go to your family. He's going to go to his. There's no connection with that. The reality is you have to know each other's families and friends. You have to be able to connect with that. You have to grow together as a couple. Everything you do needs to be a step forward as a couple. And so connecting with each other's family doesn't say you have to love them, like them. It just means you have to tolerate them. And you have to better understand them, because believe it or not, that person's family, your potential spouse's or partner's family is really the essence of who they are, because they were raised within that environment. So you can be better, again, understand who they are. You can show them compassion. If they have a wacky mom or crazy dad, you can start to understand a little bit why they're off. My family, I mean, hey, although I think my parents were pretty good. I don't know, maybe I was dropped or, whatever. I don't know what the problem was. But the thing is you can better understand who they are. So why not? Why not connect with them? But the thing is like you have to be able to accept the family, and not want to change them. Go into the environment with an open mind and say, I'm just here for the day. I'm going to enjoy them. You don't have to make, these judgment calls, or I'm not going to go over there, and I don't really care for your friend, so I'm not going over there. Well, if it's their friend, it's their friend. And so, if you're going to blend together and create a life together, you have to be able to understand the relationships they have. So let's say, for instance, you have a partner that has a friend that you maybe don't like. Maybe you should understand why they like them. Tell me why you like this person. Help me to understand the goodness of this person, So I don't know. I think as we get down to it, and let's talk a little bit about that, because we're going to be closing out the show here. But let's talk about, is it better to be solo than to be in a fake relationship? Only if it's right for you. That's $1 million question. Only if it's right for you. We don't want to be hurt. We don't want to move forward in pain and feel that again as we're traveling through. It's just so hard to really being able to connect with someone. And sometimes we make that hard on ourselves. Sometimes it's really us that doesn't want to move forward. We don't want to forgive. We don't want to move from the element of where we at. We don't want to embrace. But that's okay, because we're just maybe not ready yet. Maybe it is about timing. So I don't know. As we move forward in going solo, I want you to live the best life you've ever lived before. I want you to understand yourself and have compassion for yourself and be kind to yourself. I want you to be able to move forward and embrace life, embrace people around you, embrace your friends, embrace your family. And I would most of all love to see you embrace a partner in your life if that's what you choose. I think in today's world, in being single, I think it's really awesome. You know, it's not frowned upon. We can have a really great life being single. We can connect with friends. We can connect with other people and still live our lives to the fullest that we can live it. But if we really want a connection with someone, we have to know and be true to ourselves as to what we don't want. And we have to know the signs. We have to know and listen. We were just talking tonight about, who is that? You said the quote today about when someone shows themselves, you need to listen.
When tells you who they are, believe them.
Yeah, when someone tells you who they are, believe them. And so we don't often do that, do we? So often we try to sugarcoat it. We try to pretend. We try to think, okay, it'll be better. It'll be different. They didn't necessarily mean that. Doggone it. You know in your gut. You know, so often. Last night I was talking to someone I love very dearly who's suffering from relationship loss. But she knew in her gut all along things that she shouldn't have been doing, things that she could have moved forward with. And so, you know, my advice for her today, and anyone out there that's suffering with some sort of relationship loss like that, listen to yourself and hear this. If you can feel that, and if you know within your own being that maybe you made, and I don't want to say a mistake, but maybe you made a decision that wasn't good for you, that's okay, because you're learning from that. You've actually learned something from this hardship, from this hurtful situation that you're in. So if you are in a fake relationship, learn from it. Because guess what? The next one, you will grow from that and it will be even better. And maybe you could actually design a relationship that will work for you and work for your potential new partner. Or maybe, just maybe, you'll be okay going solo. I don't know. Only you know for sure. Well, this is the end of the show, and I love you guys. I have a great time doing these shows, and I just love the support. Thank you so much. It just means the absolute world to me that we're able to do this and expand and grow like this. And so I want to just close it out. I want to thank all of you that listen to us each and every week. I want to thank all of the hosts that are on WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, that they are just so awesome. And anybody that wants to have a show or you want to be a guest, we want to hear from you, because we would love to be able to bring your voice to the listeners who need to be able to hear such great quality information. So, you know, going solo, you're never really quite alone, are you? Because we are here with you together. All right, so we're going to close it out. I'll be back here next week, same time, same place. I'm always here on Tuesday nights at 8:30, and I will be with Christopher T. Smith on Thursday. We're going to be doing a really cool show on Thursday. And you know what? This topic I have never heard of before, but I know that I'm part of it because I am wearing my glasses tonight. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And then next week, I'm having a guest with me, and May Vu. Oh, if you have not heard her, you are going to want to hear her. I'm telling you, she's absolutely fabulous. But she's going to talk about women in business. And guys, I think you can learn a few things from this too. So I think it's going to be very enlightening for us and very empowering, because these shows are very, very empowering. Well, this is Cece with Going Solo, and you are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, and I'll catch you next time. Bye for now.